Okay, so I've had several people ask me how I do my eyebrows, so I'm gonna try to do a video. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put my hair back. I'm gonna use a little bit darker eyebrow stuff than I've been using lately, just so you can see it. I've been currently using this Profusion Good Brow Day, and then the pencil comes in a kit. I think it's like $5 or $6. It's actually pretty good. Okay. So you have a few different options for brow stuff. I have the Brow Bar powder. It has like a brown and then a black powder and then a cream I guess you're supposed to highlight with, but it's meant for deeper skin tones. I really like this brown in here though, so usually I use that brown when I have a little bit darker hair, but like I said, I'm gonna use a little bit darker, that way you can see it. I have the $1 Billion Brow Pomade, and then I also have the e.l.f. Brow Pomade. And honestly, I like the e.l.f. just as good. I've actually used it a little bit more than I have this one. The big thing with pomades is to make sure that they don't dry out, because they will dry out. And if they do dry out, you can just add a touch of oil and kind of mix it back in. And then I usually just pat it back in and make sure like it's not super oily, but so then you also have some brow pencils. I also love the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim. It's actually a really good pencil. I love Benefit Brow. Anything by Benefit's pretty good. I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the Brow Stroke pen. It's okay if you like the boy brow type brow, and I'm not a super fan of those brows just because I'm a little bit older. I'm not like, you know, young, but I can do like a type of boy brow that I like. I'm gonna do like my basic brows if I was gonna do or go to work, or the brow I normally wear. Okay, so this is a brow mascara, and I just kind of run it through my brow. You need to remember that your brows frame your face. Now, it might look a little crazy. You gotta trust the process. I always do my brows first when I come to do my makeup. And if I'm doing any type of winged liner or anything really crazy, I will start with my eye look first too. Just because it's easier to wipe away if you don't have to take off your foundation and everything. So it kind of looks a little crazy, right? So I also have this $1 Billion brow pencil. It's really meant for like that pomade on one end and then a spoolie on one end, and I will just kind of feather that out a little bit. I spend a lot of time on my brows, really. So like right here, it kind of smeared and got a little dark. That's fine, it doesn't matter. You can just rub it with your finger. A lot of times it will kind of buff out a little bit, and then if not, you can just get a little bit of your toner and just kind of dab it, because this part doesn't have to be really super precise. The part we're going to go into does. I'm going to use the brow pencil. I think it's the easiest for beginners. The pomade has a little bit of a learning curve to it. You gotta kind of make sure you get it right, or it'll be a disaster. The pencil has a little bit more wiggle room. So I'm gonna get pretty close to my mirror and then I'll come back and kind of show you. So what I like to do is kind of brush my hairs up a little bit, right? And then I'll go underneath and just slightly tap along that hairline there. And just slightly. And I just bring it out. Just real light. And you'll want to fill this in a little bit. So the type of boy brow that I do, or soap brow, I will underline this bottom and then I'll just fill in kind of where it's sparse, like right here. But I won't do the top. But now for this video, I'm going to show you where I go ahead and do the top, because I like doing the top and I really like to cut and frame up the eyebrows. Okay, so then I'll kind of brush this back down a little bit. Now, kind of see where it needs to go up at. It's really hard to do this looking at my phone and not a mirror. But once you get the shape that you want, it's so much easier. Because all you gotta do is fill it in. Let me kind of work on this a minute. Now, you want to get it darker back here than you do up here. You want to keep this kind of light, because you will like ombre this out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good there. Now, we'll go in with this powder. Actually, for the new stuff I've been using for my lighter hair color, I haven't found a really light powder that I like. It just kind of sucks, because I really like using brow powder as well. I'm thinking about picking up that e.l.f. brow powder. To see how, like, I started back here with the powder, back here in the back, and just kind of patted, and then I'll take it up here, kind of feather it towards the front. Just like that. Okay. This up here can be a little messy because we're going to clean it up. Okay. So let's do this other one. This red bump is from, I guess, an ingrown eyebrow hair, and it does not want to heal very good. It wants to hang around. Now, I get really hung up that sometimes my brows aren't like exactly even or the same. You need to remember that your brows are sisters and not twins. They don't have to be exactly the same. Just as long as they look good individually. That's even kind of a hard thing for me to act like, you need to quit. They look fine. So filling in the sparse areas. And I'm not going like super ham. I'm barely just tap, tap, tap. Super light. I know it kind of looks heavy, but I'm going super light. Super light. I like the more precise brow pencils because I think it's just easier. There's some more thicker ones that are okay, but I think for beginners, it's easier to work with something small and kind of build up your confidence a little bit. Yeah. Now you need to try to keep the end of your brow about the end of your eye. And I curve my brow down. Some people like them more up. I feel like with my face shape that they look better pointed down just slightly. But you want to stop your eyebrow about the first point of your eye. It'll look better. So I'm gonna go back into that kind of bigger spoily, just kind of brush through them. Just to make sure there's no like super sparse areas. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay. So sometimes I will get that little cotton thing that I had my toner on, and I'll just go along the front of that, kind of clean that up just slightly. If you go straight in with concealer, sometimes it'll make your concealer look muddy just because it's a brown and you're going over it with a beige, and it'll look a little muddy sometimes. So I just clean up there a little bit where I've diffused that front and clean it up a little bit. See right there? It's getting a little muddy looking. Definitely wouldn't want to hit that with your concealer. I use my fingers a lot too, so you can just tap that a little bit. That cotton ball out. But yeah, just clean them up a little bit with some toner or however you want it to. Makeup wipe works fine. So I'm gonna put my lids back on my pomades. And I'm gonna show you how I clean them up. I use a concealer. Some people will use a lighter concealer on the bottom and then a darker, more like their foundation color on top, or a little bit of their foundation. That's fine. I usually use the Tarte. This is so old. I've had this for so long, but I've almost finished it. So I'm gonna keep using it till I finish it. I like a super, you can tell it's super gross, a super small, like pointy brush, right? You can get, I like the Wet n Wild one, even from the Dollar Tree. Looks almost just like this. Anything that looks like this. A lot of people use a little bit bigger, maybe even something like that. I don't necessarily like that because I can't get precise. And you don't want to have a whole lot of concealer on your eyelid. Actually, concealer is not the best for gripping eyeshadows. You really need an eyeshadow primer, especially for oily skin. It just does not work the best for some reason. So, do you see what I did? I always put my concealer on the back of my hand, and I'm just barely tapping at the edge of that concealer with this brush and dragging it out on my hand a little bit, so I don't have a ton of product on this brush, okay? And we're just gonna start right there. We're just gonna trace the bottom with this brush. Now this is where I make my tail a little bit better and thinner. But see how I touched a little bit gray on that? Because I went over part of where I had that product, but we'll fix that. Because that is hard to do with toner or a little cotton ball. And I usually buff my concealer out with my finger a little bit. Just tapping it. Just tap, tap, tap. We'll get a touch more. Just very light, very little. Because I've learned that you can take away, or you can add a little bit more a whole lot easier than taking away. Taking away is a lot harder. I'd rather build it a little than to have a whole lot of product. There you go. Just something like that. Take a little bit more. Sorry if I'm not like talking a lot, but I'm trying to be able to show you as close up as I can and still be able to see good. Because this camera is kind of hard to put makeup on in. So you see where I'm going, like in the middle? I'll just kind of buff out that front of concealer in between my eyebrows. So now that you got the bottom on, we're gonna just tap, tap, tap. Like I said, you can use this concealer, you can use a darker concealer, you can use a little bit of your foundation, just however you wanna do it. And I go up a little bit above my brow because then I feel like I don't have a ton of product like super close to my brow, and it doesn't look as, I don't know, like a big ass line or something. Actually, I'll mess up a little bit on this other one and kind of show you. See, I can go up here and pick up a little bit of product and just bring it down and kind of work it around like that. And then I'll just take my finger, buff out that a little bit, because you don't want a really harsh line when you go to put on your foundation. Like I said, I put my eyebrows on first. So I'll just buff that out with my finger. And sometimes even before I put on makeup, I'll buff it out with a beauty blender. So if like the front of your brow is a little bit just too perfect or whatever, just take this spoolie and just buff it out a little bit. Because sometimes you can cut it almost too perfect. And you don't want that. You want it to look pretty. Kind of natural, if you will. There you go. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of mess up on this other one a little bit and kind of show you how you don't want to like get it too close right away, especially on the top. So I've got some product. We're just gonna go right here on it. Okay. So, do you see the difference? I feel like this is like super blocky or something, and this just looks a little bit more just smoother. I don't know. So I mean, I can buff this out with my finger, and I mean it'll look okay, but I don't know. See, this one looks super blocky, and this one doesn't. That's why I just don't like that necessarily. That's why I like to start up a little bit and kind of like pat my product and then bring it down and work it down. I just think the end result's a little bit better. So that's pretty much it for the brow. Get off it kind of like a soft concealer. I'm not going to do a full face because I'm not going anywhere. I just wanted to kind of show you how I do my brows. How I like to do my brows. I will maybe do a video on kind of like the boy brow or the soap brow. To kind of show you how I do my version, but it's not like everybody's version because I don't do the full blown, just regular soap brow. Then I will go in with the Benefit brow setter. I do like it. I also have the Wonder Beauty eyebrow setter gel, however you want to say it. It'll come out about like that. Look almost like that mascara. And I do just kind of brush it up. And it's okay if like your little hairs go above where you've drawn your brow. It's fine. Especially there in the front. I feel like it adds some dimension there. There you go. That's about it. That is about it. So if you do want to see like the soap brow or the boy brow, let me know, or what else you'd want to see. I might do a full makeup look, just kind of something simple. Just let me know. Bye.